Hi friends, in this class let us discuss about the insect wings. Insects are the first organisms on earth to evolve the wing. Insects are the first organism to taken into the air, or insects are the first organism to fly. And insects are the only invertebrate that evolved flight. They have evolved flying way before any other organisms started to get into the air. They have evolved their flight 360 million years ago, which is otherwise called as the Carboniferous period. When we see the evolution of flight or the flying mechanism on the vertebrate, it is only after 250 million years ago. It is 100 million years after the insects evolved their wings. And if you see the modern birds, they have evolved their wings only after the 65 million years ago. The first vertebrate that have evolved the flight is Pterosaurus, which is close relative to the dinosaurs. So if you have traveled back in time 300 million years ago, you would have find only the insects flying, or the whole sky belong to the insects and insects only. So this flying mechanism enabled the insects to access the area which was not available to any other organisms, which ultimately helped the insects to capture all the parts of the earth and getting adapted to the situations where any other organisms cannot survive. If you see the morphology or the evolution of wings in any other organisms and the insect, it is entirely different. If you see the birds, they have evolved their wings from their forelimbs, or they have sacrificed their forelegs to fly. The birds' wings are the modification of their forewings. But in case of insect, the story is different, because they have evolved the wings. Wings in the insect is an independent organ. You can see that it is the extension of the integument part. There are different theories for the insect's wing development, or the insect, how the insect evolved their wings. The common theory is that the insect, commonly accepted theory is that insect in the ancient days, they have jumped from the trees, and when they are jumping, and they eventually have developed the paranodal organ and near the in the prothoracic region, which helped them to glide through the air, which functioned like the gliding organ, and just to guide the insect to go to different areas, and which eventually developed into the insect wing, which we are seeing right now. Now let's discuss about the characters of the typical insect wings. Insects, they have wings only during their adult stage. So if you see the holometabolous insect, if you see the different stages of holometabolous insect like egg, larva, pupa and adult, the fully developed and functional wings are present in the adult stage only. In other metabolous insects like the hemimetabolous, they may be having the wing pads externally, but the fully developed functional wing will be present only during their adult stage. Based on the presence of wings only, the insects, they are grouped into two major groups, that is pterygote insect and the apterygote insects. The pterygote insect, they will be having the wings. The apterygote insects are the most primitive ones which do not have the wings. So the winged forms are coming under the group Pterygota. In the group Pterygota itself, there is two division, which is the first one is the Paleoptera and the second one is the Neoptera. The Paleopteran division insects, they could not fold their wings during their rest period. Here we can see the dragonflies and damselflies, they could not fold their wings behind their back during the rest period. Here we can see the dragonfly wings are spread flat. In damselflies we can see that, and the damselflies and Epipnoptera, wings are held above the abdomen. The Paleopteran insects, they could not fold their wings because of the direct attachment of the axillary sclerites with the insect veins. So what is the axillary sclerites? Axilla means the portion below the arm or armpit. This portion in insect, it is a thorax region. In the thorax region, the mesothorax and metathoracic regions. In that region, the axillary sclerites, it acts as a hinge, like attaching something. These axillary sclerites in the Paleopteran insect or the old age insects like the dragonflies and damselflies, they are directly attached with the veins in the insect wings. So when they are directly attached with the wings, this makes the wing so rigid and it will not allow the wing to fold. But in the modern insect, the Neopteran insect, these axillary sclerites are not directly attached with these veins in the wings. So it allows the insects to fold their wings during the rest. So folding mechanism of wings, it helps the insects to further evolve. When the insect can fold their wings during the rest period, it can access more places and it can hide in different areas by folding their wings. So it is new type of wings evolved after the Paleopteran insects. That's why it is called as a Neopteran insect. Based on the wing type, there are also other groups like the secondary wingless insects, which means that the ancestor of the particular insect, they had the wings, but during the evolution they had lost their wings. Like if you see the example of headloss and bodyloss, they actually possess the wings during their ancestry times, but during the evolution, when they started to live the parasitic life, they have to go and stick to their host and they never need to move. So during the evolutionary period, they have lost their wings. And in other forms, like in some of the insect, it is deciduous, they possess the deciduous kind of wings. Like if you see termites and ants, they have their wings or they develop their wings only during particular period, but after the particular period they will lose the wings, or like the deciduous trees, they shedding the leaves when it is not necessary. Like the termites and ants, they develop their wings during the mating period, but once the mating season is over, they shed their wings and they live like Eopteran insects. So it is called as the deciduous kind of wings. And if you see, most commonly all the insects, they will be having two pairs of wings, which is in the mesothorax and the metathorax. So we can see that the thorax is primarily the locomotive part. We know that the insect will be having three major tagma. So we have discussed it earlier itself. Tagma means the particular part with the particular function. Like head is having the function of feeding, and the thorax, it is having major function of locomotion. So the thorax is having the legs for the walking or the terrestrial movement, and the wings to the other form of locomotion, that is by flying. So the mesothorax and metathorax, so insect mostly they will be having two pairs of wings, but some insects like the flies, they will be having only one pair of wings in their mesothorax region, and the metathorax wings, they are developed into halters or just only the guiding organs. There is a series of channels in the wings which is acting as a passage for the blood, nerves and for the tracheal system. And when these walls, the walls of these channels are thickened, it forms the veins. The arrangement of these wings, it differs from insect to insect based on the species level itself. The differentiation happens in the insect veins. So these arrangements of the insect veins are called as a venation, and using this venation, insect classification is broadly done. According to Comstock and Needham, there are 6 primary longitudinal veins. They are costa, subcosta, radius, median, cubitus and the anal veins. This is from the top to the bottom, from the anterior to the posterior region of the wing. These longitudinal veins are arranged. Costa, this costa is the first wing present in the anterior region, so it is located in the costal region, that's why it is called as a costa. The second vein is subcosta, which is distally divided into subcosta 1 and subcosta 2, and the radius, which is the third vein in the insect wing, towards the middle region of the wing, it is divided into two branches, forked into two branches, which is R1, which is undivided, and the RS, that is radiosectorial. This is divided into or branched into two veins, and these two veins are further distally forked into two, which is R2, R3, and R4 and R5. And the fourth vein is the median, which is here we can see that the fourth vein is the median. This median is divided into median anterior and median posterior, but in the modern insect the median anterior, which is supposed to present there, is absent. This median anterior is actually they were divided into two distal branches, which is called as median anterior 1 and median anterior 2, and the median sector, which is present in the modern insect, it is divided into four terminal branches, M1, M2, and it further divided into M3 and M4. So in most of the modern insect, this median anterior is totally lost, and only the median posterior, which is branched into M1, M2, M3 and M4, is usually present. And the fifth insect vein is the cubitus. This cubitus is primarily divided into two branches, which happens near the basal region of the wing, and this is cubitus 1. It is divided into cubitus 1 and cubitus 2. This cubitus 1 itself, it is divided into cubitus 1A and cubitus 1B, and the cubitus 2 is unbranched in most of the insects. And the next veins are the anal veins. There are three anal veins present in the insect. There are post cubitus, which is the first anal vein present, which is post cubitus means after the cubitus veins ends. The immediately the vein present after the cubitus is called as a post cubitus vein, which is the first anal vein, and the other veins are the venal veins and the jugal veins. There are three primary anal veins, which is the post cubitus, venous, and the jugal. These venous and jugal are named after the particular region of the insect wings. We will be talking it shortly about the various regions in the wing. In that time we will be understanding that what is the venal region and jugal region. And this venal region, it is actually the venal wing, which is actually coming directly into the contact with the third axillary sclerite, which is present in the wing attachment. The axillary sclerites are which functions mostly in the insect wing folding. So this is about the primary longitudinal veins. In between the longitudinal veins, there are cross links, or the connection between one longitudinal vein and another longitudinal vein is done by the cross veins, which forms the particular cells in the insect wings. Just like the longitudinal veins, there are also definite number of cross veins, the cross joints between the longitudinal veins, which forms the cells, the confined cells in the insect wings. Now let's see the different cross veins present in the insect wings. Here we can see that these are all the cross veins present in the insect wing. Starting with the humeral cross vein, which is present between the costa and subcosta, and the radial cross vein, which is present between the R1 and the first fork of the RS, which is radiosectorial. And the sectorial cross vein S, which is mentioned as S, is between the two forks of the RS, and the medius and the median cross vein, which is M2M, which is present between M2 and M3, and the mediocubital cross vein, which is present between the median and the cubital longitudinal veins. Wings are triangular in shape. We can see this kind of structure in insect wings, so it forms a triangular structure, which means there will be three sides. So there are three angles, three margins, and three regions in the insect wings. Now let's start with the three margins. Those three margins are the anterior one. The anterior margin is called as the costal margin. This one, the anterior margin, and the outer region of the wing is called as apical margin, this one, and the posterior region, this region, is called as a anal margin. And the wing angle, when we see the wing angle, there are three angles in the insect wings. The first angle is created between the joining area and the wing, and this angle is called as a humeral angle, which is angle at the base of the costal margin of the wing, this costal margin, and this one is the humeral angle. And the next angle is called as apical angle. This apical angle is created between this costal margin and the apical margin. This angle is called as a apical angle. And the anal angle is created between the anal margin and the apical margin. Between the apical margin and anal margin, the angle created is called as an anal angle. And these are all the wings angles and the margin. And let's see the three regions in the insect wings. The entire body of the wing is divided into two regions, that is the basal articular region, and the rest of the wing is called as alar region. Articular means, we already discussed, articulation means the joining of insect wing to the insect integument. And the rest of the region, alar, means to fly. The other regions of the wing which is helpful in the insect flying is called as alar region. The articular region mainly consists of the articulary sclerites, as we already discussed about the articulary sclerites, and the rest of the region is called as alar region. This alar region is divided into three regions, which is called as remigium, venous, and the jugum. The anterior region of the wing is called as a remigium, which is primarily supported with all the wing veins. It is the chief part of the wing which is acting in the movement of the flight, and it contains all the main primary longitudinal veins, and it contains all of them like costa, subcosta, radius, median, cubitus, and even postcubitus veins are present in this region called remigium, which is supported on rigid part of the wing with all the insect veins. And the second region is called as venous. It is posterior flexible part of the wing. It occurs between the postcubitus. Here we can see that this is the postcubitus region and the first anal vein. It is present between the postcubitus vein and the first anal vein. So this region is called as a venous region. And the next region is the jugal region. When this venom is enlarged, and they are called as a clavus. Sometimes in some of the insect, this venal region, the flexible region, is enlarged, which is called as a clavus. The next insect region is a jugal region, which is comparatively newly formed region in the insect wing, because most of the modern insect, they have this jugal region or jugal fold, which is present proximal to the insect wing base. In this wing base, we can see that near to the venal lobe and the base of the insect wing, this jugal lobe or the jugal region is present. As the jugal region is newly developed part of the insect wing, it is called as a nala, which means a new part of insect wings. So this jugal region is strengthened by few small irregular vein-like thickenings. So this irregular vein-like thickening is called as a jugal fold. And in the venal region also, we have seen that there is a lot of irregular veins, and which forms the venal fold. So why it is called as a venal fold and jugal fold is because it is not having the primary longitudinal veins, which makes them to fold. And like the remigial region, the remigium is fully supported with the longitudinal vein, so it is not like a flexible part. The flexible part of insect wing is the venal region and the jugal region, or the posterior parts of the wing. Now let's talk about the modifications in the insect wings. If we see, there are a lot of modifications that happened throughout the evolution of insects. We can see the membranous wings, which is supporting predominantly for the insect flight, and the modified regions in the membranous wing, it created the hardened pods, and which made them as a protective for the membranous wings. So there are a lot of modifications happened in the insect wings, and based on these modifications, insect wings are classified into different types. Let's see them one by one. The first one is the membranous wing. So the membranous type of wings is helpful for the insect flights, and membranous wings are present, either it may be present in the insect with all the two pairs, maybe membranous wings like dragonfly, damselflies, and the mayflies, termites, and the stoneflies, even in the ant lines, aphid lines, wasps, and bees. They have both their pairs of the wings are modified into the membranous wing. And in some of the insects, the only one pair of wing, like the forewings of the true flies and hind wings of grasshopper, praying mantids, bugs, beetles, and the stylophids. These insects, they only one pair of the wing is modified into membranous wing, and the other part it mostly act as the forewings. Mostly the forewings, they act as protection. Second type of insect wing modification is tagmina. Here the forewing is modified as into the leathery or parchment-like structure, and which is capable of bending without breaking, and it is useful in protecting the hind wings. Here we can see that this is the hind wing. It is protecting the hind wings. These forewings are helpful to protect the membranous hind wings, and the blood circulation, it only happens in the basal region, and it is the basal part of the wing, it is only having the blood circulation, which means that the veins here are not helpful to the blood circulation, or the veins are reduced, or it has hardened into to form the tagmina or the parchment like structure. So the veins are hardened. In case of the grasshoppers and the cricket, it is also used for the production of sound, and the forewings of the cockroach, grasshoppers, praying mantids, and cricket are the example of this tagmina kind of insect wing. The next wing type, third wing type, is elytra. It is mainly present in the forewings of beetles and weevils. It is modified into elytra. Here it is highly sclerotized, and it is like a sheath, and it is devoid of any veins. The veins here is totally lost, which is only the forewings job is to protect the hind wings, and it is not helpful during the flight. The main job of the forewings is to when the insect is in rest, it is just kept over the hind wings to protect them. The next wing type here is a hemielytra, which is present mostly in the forewings of Heteropteran bugs. As we know that the Hemipteran, there is two types, Homoptera and Heteroptera. In these Heteropteran bugs, the wing type present is called as a hemielytra, which means partially elytra. Here we can see that the basal portion of the forewing is thickened and leathery like. It is like a protecting the lateral portion of the wing, which is membranous. Here the wing blade is divided into 5 regions based on which there are different kinds of wings even inside the hemielytra itself. The portions are called as corium, cuneus, clavus, membranous, and the embolium. Here we are seeing different kinds of hemielytra inside the Heteropteran bugs. First one is the lacewing bug, the Tingidae, where the membranous region doesn't have any different regions. And in the Miridae bug, the first one we can see that the corium, clavus, the cuneus, and the membranous region. So all the regions are present in the Miridae bug. And the next one is a Lygeidae. In Lygeidae, the region which is called as a cuneus, the division in the corium, here we can see that it is absent, and all other portions are present. And in the Anthocoridae, the extra region is present, the embolium. The corium is the upper portion of corium is divided into separate region, separate cell. It is called as embolium, and all other regions are present. Fifth wing modification is the scaly wings. We could have seen the butterflies and moths. When we are touching their wings, we can get the sticky scale like things in our hand, which is called as a scaly wings. So it has a unicellular colored scale-like structure, which are cuticular appendages and completely covering the membranous wings. So these scale overlap with each other, and they are also responsible for smoothing the airflow in the insect wing, and they also insulate the insect against the cold. The next wing type is fringed wings. The example is in the insect thrips, and both the pairs, the forewings and hindwings, they are reduced in size and supported with the cloth with the fine hairs. These fine hairs are helpful to float in the air during the flight. The next wing modification is halters. We already discussed that the flies, the house flies or the true flies, they have only one pair of wings, which is the forewing, and the hind wing, it is modified into halters, which is regulating the flight when the insect is flying. Here the halters are otherwise also called as a balancers, and it provides the stability to the insect during the flight, and it is club like shape, and it has the basal region. The basal region is called as a scabellum, and the free ends is bulbulus, and which is called as a capitulum. So this basal structure is called as a scabellum, and the terminal region is called as the bulbous region is called as a capitulum, and both this area is united by the stem in between, the rod like stem. On the basal part, there are two large group of sensory bodies forming the smaller Higgs papillae. This region, it has the sensory organ which is called as a Higgs papillae, which regulate the flies when they are flying. The hind wings of the true flies, it is modified into halters, as we already told, and the stylophytes, their forewings are modified into halters. And there are also other types which is called as a philohalters. There we can see the hind wings are modified into long thread-like structures. In some of the lace wings we can see such modifications. Next, let us talk about the insect wings coupling. So we know that the insect has two pairs of wings, the forewing and the hindwing. Forewing is located in the mesonodal region and the hindwing is located in the metanodal region. These forewings and the hindwings, they may act independently, like in dragonflies and damselflies, mayflies. Their forewings and hindwings, they act independently. The forewing may go down and hindwings go up and down. It may act independently. But in case of the wings, like the butterflies and moths, these wings, they are coupled together, and even in case of bees also, both the wings, forewings and hindwings, they coupled together and they function as a single pair of wings. So this coupling, the forewing and hindwing, they are coupled together and they act as a single wing. This is called as a wing coupling. And now let's see what are the different kinds of wings coupling. First kind of insect wing coupling is a frenate. This has two types, that is male frenate and the female frenate. Here we can see that the female frenate is here. This is the forewing and this is the hind wing. This hind wing, the humeral region of the hind wing, this produces number of bristle like structures in the hind wings, which is called as, the bristles are called as a frenulum. These frenulum, they are attached or holded by in the forewings, cubitus region is there. Cubitus, the fifth vein. This cubitus vein, they produce the retinaculum or catch, which is held by those hooks. They hold this frenulum. So number of retinaculum are there in the cubitus region. In this cubitus region, this frenulum are held. There may be, the number of frenulum may be 2 to 20. The numbers will be more in case of the female frenulum. Means that in case of the female frenate type. And in the male frenate type, here we can see that This is the humeral region of the insect wing. Here only single stout frenular bristle arises and it interlocks with the single forwarded curved spine, which is the retinaculum. Here we can see number of retinaculum to hold the number of frenulum. Here only one frenulum is arised from the humeral region, which is held by the hook present in the radial vein of the forewing. Here we can see it is held by the cubital vein, and it is held by the radial vein. The next kind of wing coupling is amplexiform type. In this amplexiform type is present in butterflies. Most of the butterflies, they don't have any linking structures like we've seen in case of moths. There will be no linking structures. The forewings and the hindwings are overlapping each other. Here we can see that the overlapping of forewings and hindwings are there. The costal margin of the hindwing, which is pressed by the anal margin of the forewing. This anal margin of the forewing is pressing the hindwings costal margin. This overlapping helps these two pairs of wings united and function as a single wing. And the examples of these kind of wings are present in the butterflies like Nymphalidae. The next wing modification is the hamulate type. In this hamulate type, the hind wings, the hamulate type is mainly present in case of honeybees and wasps. Here if we see in the honeybees, the hind wings is provided with the costal margin of these hind wings are provided with the hook-like structures. And this hook-like structure, these short hooks, actually they are called as a hamuli. Like this hamuli interlocks the thickened and folded edges of the anal margin. Here we can see that the anal margin is hooked by this hamuli. And the next type is a jugal, the jugate modification. In the jugate modification, the jugal region of the forewing, it produces the jugal. We already discussed about the jugal region. Jugal region is a newly formed wing region, which is in the proximal region of the base of the wing. This jugal region is extended little bit and held over the hind wings. So these hind wings, as the jugum of the forewing is lobe-like and locked with the costal margin of the hind wings, this helps the both forewings and hind wings act together. This is present in the moths of Hapleonid. And that's all about today's class. And if you are having any doubts also, don't forget to put it in the comments so that I can clarify those comments in the coming video. So that's all about today's class. Let's meet you in the next class. Till then, bye bye and stay safe.